Is Rishi Sunak's political career over? Under him, the Tories are a mess. They are 30 points behind the Labour Party in the latest polls. The UK is expected to go to the polls in January 2025, just 8 months from now. And Sunak's Conservatives are 30 points behind the Labour in the poll carried out by YouGov for the Times. The result shows the Labour on 48%, the Conservatives 18%. The Reform UK just 5 points behind. The survey suggests that come elections, Labour would get a 452-seat majority. And as I speak, the support for Sunak's Tories is at its lowest since Liz Truss's 49-day government. But then are you surprised? Under Sunak, the UK has become a third world country. A third world country is one that is economically weaker. It is a country battling economic instability, high poverty. A third world country is one that lacks basic infrastructure, basic necessities. And Britain seems to be checking all the boxes. Today, there is a shortage of essential drugs in the UK. Doctors are worried. Pharmacists are worried. Patients are petrified. Now, these are essential drugs we are talking about. Drugs for ADHD, drugs for type 2 diabetes, epilepsy. Pharmacists say lives are at risk. And that is how serious this problem is. It's not hard to imagine. For a diabetes patient, her drug is a lifesaver. And without them, anything can happen anytime. In the UK, diabetes patients are being turned away at pharmacies because there is no stock. Same with epilepsy patients. Let me read out for you what the head of an epilepsy society told the British media. Our helpline has been inundated with calls from desperate people who are having to travel miles, often visiting multiple pharmacies, to try and access their medication. This is the UK we are talking about, not Sudan, not Venezuela. This is the UK battling third world problems. We spoke about basic infra. In the UK, roads are not even at break point, but well past it. As per estimates quoted in the British press, there are 6 potholes per mile in England and Wales. Further, estimates say there are over 1 million potholes in the UK. Such is the situation that Britain's Royal Automobile Club has been forced to come up with a pothole index. You don't need me to tell you that potholes increase the risk of accidents and deaths on the road. And the risk, by the way, does not end here. Today, even Britain's prisons are overcrowded. Cells meant for a single prisoner now house 2, sometimes even 3 inmates. Britain's prison system has not been upgraded since the Victorian era. The infra is over a century old. Data published in 2023 revealing that the number of deaths on the prison estate is up 9% as compared to the year before. The number of suicides is up 26%. Self-harm in the women's prison is up 52%. Inspectors have rated most British prisons as poor or inadequate. Again, this is not Venezuela. It is still Rishi Sunak's UK we are talking about. Why don't you do a quick online search here? Look up the United Kingdom. You will be met with one bad news after the other. The UK is expected to be the worst performing G7 economy next year. We're not the ones saying that. OECD is. That is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. The Paris-based think tank believes that the UK will grow by just 0.4% this year. In 2025, the UK is expected to grow by up just 1%. Government policies are not helping. Economists say the UK's economy could be staring at a long-term irrelevance without immigration. A leading think tank claiming the next government in the UK will be forced to hit voters with post-election tax rises. There is a housing crisis in the UK. In Oxford, house prices are 12 times the average salary. Over 3,000 households are on the waiting list for homes. Reports say there is also an electricity problem in the UK. There is a shortage of electricity networks in the UK. Banks are closing branches in the UK. As per estimates, 6,000 bank branches have been closed since 2015. This includes branches of Barclays, NatWest, the Royal Bank of Scotland. TSB will reportedly be closing 36 branches over the next 18 months. The Thames, which is an emblem of London, is facing a crisis as well. Shareholders of Thames Water are refusing to invest. This, by the way, is the company responsible for water supply and wastewater treatment in most of Greater London area. Now, is this a failure of privatization, or is the story the poster boy of the bigger picture of failure here? Today, British women are sadder than their European peers. British women are also more stressed. They are battling negative emotions more than their European counterparts. I'm talking about worry, stress, anger. Still, the UK we are talking about here. The UK under which Rishi Sunak appears to have become a third world country. More than 1.5 billion people, or nearly 20% of the global population, have hearing disabilities. According to the WHO, that is 430 million people with hearing loss. And of them, 34 million happen to be children. But now, there is hope for them. In the UK, an 18-month-old girl has regained her hearing. In fact, she is the first in the world to undergo an innovative gene therapy trial. Opal Sandy suffered from auditory neuropathy. This is a condition that basically disrupts the signals from the ear to the brain. It made Opal profoundly deaf. What came to her rescue was a pioneering gene therapy that was tested both in the UK and globally. It nearly restored the toddler's hearing with prospects for further improvement. Opal's parents described the results as mind-blowing.
I think we'd been given a really unique opportunity with no real evidence that any harm or adverse effects was likely to come to her. And I think a lot of parents, regardless of their difficulties their children face, to be given an opportunity to potentially make obstacles easier for her to overcome was a risk definitely worth taking.
Genetic factors contribute to over 50% of childhood hearing loss cases. Variations in the OTOF gene leads to hearing loss. It's often unnoticed till speech delays emerge around the ages 2 to 3. The treatment that is administered as an ear infusion corrects the defective DNA responsible for the genetic hearing loss. Young Opal is involved in a trial that is actively enrolling participants from the UK, the US, Spain. The treatment employs a benign, altered virus to transport a functional OTOF gene variant into the cells. Opal received the therapy in her right ear under anesthesia, along with a cochlear implant in her left ear. Weeks later, she responded to loud noises like applause with her right ear.
We can start to use gene therapy in young children, restore hearing for a variety of different kinds of genetic hearing loss, and then have a more one-and-done type approach where we actually restore the hearing. They don't have to have cochlear implants and other technologies that have to be replaced.
In a groundbreaking display of mathematical prowess, 2 students at St. Mary's Academy in New Orleans, US, have shattered centuries-old assumptions. They solved a math puzzle thought to be impossible for 2,000 years. Our next report telling you more.
At St. Mary's Academy, a math contest set the stage for innovation. Michelle Bluen-Williams, a high school math teacher, posed a challenging bonus question to her students. This question tasked them with creating a novel proof for the Pythagorean theorem using trigonometry, a feat deemed impossible for nearly 2,000 years. She didn't expect much, but she was in for a surprise when 2 of her students, Calcia Johnson and Nakia Jackson, rose to the occasion and solved the 2,000-year-old puzzle. Of course, the allure of a $500 prize was an added motivation. After months of relentless work, they submitted their groundbreaking proofs. That was in December 2022. The duo is now in college. Encouraged by their teachers, they took their work beyond the classroom, presenting at a mathematics conference and then venturing into publication. Even today, their mathematical journey continues as they explore additional proofs of the Pythagorean theorem. For context, the Pythagorean theorem, expressed as a square plus b square is equal to c square, is a fundamental concept in geometry. It allows calculation of a right triangle's third side based on the lengths of the other two sides. Though initially daunting, Chalcea and Nicaea took on the challenge, unaware that such proofs using trigonometry were previously deemed unattainable. In 2009, mathematician Jason Zimba submitted a proof, paving the way for Chalcea and Nicaea's groundbreaking contributions. The magnitude of their achievement reverberated globally, earning them accolades from far and wide. Their work garnered attention from South Korea. They even got a shout-out from former First Lady Michelle Obama. They received commendations from local authorities. Yet, amidst the celebration, the two students also encountered harsh racism. That hasn't stopped the two geniuses from continuing on their maths journey. While Nicaea received a full scholarship at Xavier University in New Orleans, Chalcea, the class valedictorian, is studying environmental engineering at Louisiana State University. While neither plans to pursue a career in mathematics, they have surely left an indelible mark on the field. Bureau Report, WION World is One.